automated that application with your hard-coded values. So when you are running this, whatever the hard-coded values we have given, so when you have created actions, those hard-coded values every time it is taking. But our requirement is we need to pick the data from this Excel file and we need to give it to that application. So generally, so if you want to pick the data from an Excel file and if you want to give it to the application, what we are going to do, we are going to use MS Excel VBO, right? We have to use MS Excel VBO and then we have to work with that. So now we'll see how to pick the what all the actions we are going to use in MS Excel VBO. So to pick the data, like create instance, right? Create instance. After that, open workbook. After that, get worksheet as collections, right? These are the actions we have to use it in MS Excel VBO. So now first, we have to pick the data from Excel file to collection. Later we'll see how to give the data from that particular collection to this particular actions. Okay, so now first what we need to do, we need to pick the data from Excel to collection. Now we'll use action, double click, create instance. By default first one is create instance, use MS Excel VBO. So which one we have to use here? Create instance. Create instance. Once you click on the create instance, and then by default output will be, we'll take it as a handle. Okay, let it be. After that create instance, we need to open workbook. Now again use action, double click, open workbook. Use this as Excel VBO, open workbook. So when you are opening the workbook, it will ask you handle name. We'll give handle name, and then it will ask you file name. File name is nothing but your path of the file, where the file is available. This is the path. This file we need to take. Shift and right click, you will get the option called copy as a path. Now give that path here, and then when you're giving the path, you will get output as workbook name. Okay, so now we have create instance and open workbook. Next we need to give the data, we need to get the data, right? So for that we have to use get worksheet as collections. Get to collections. Now use business object, MS Excel VBO, get worksheet as collections. Now we need to give handle, and then it will ask you workbook name, from which workbook, workbook name, and then it will ask you which sheet name we need to mention, from which sheet we are going to pick the data. If you observe here, so this one, sheet 1, right? We need to pick the data from sheet 1. So now let it be, and we need to give the sheet name here. Now we have given a sheet name, sheet 1. Okay, so now this data, where it has to save, it has to save into collection. Observe this. So this data, right, so by default it has created, store it in a collection. Whatever the values we have in that Excel file, all the data will come to this specific collection. Okay, so now from the start we need to give it to create instance, open workbook, get worksheet as collection. Okay, now we have a data in a collection. Now what we need to do, now we need to give all this data to your application, right? But wherever you are using collections, what we need to use? We need to use loop, because we have n number of records in a collection. So for each and every record, it has to implement that. So calculations, it has to, so launch, it has to enter the amount, and then it has to enter input amount, output amount, and then it has to convert, and then it has to pick the value for each and every record. Right? We have to use loop here. Use loop. Okay. So now one question: if you give loop like this, so we'll give from the, after the loop we will launch, after that amount, after that, so we are going to get the result up to here, and then after the result we are going to give it to the loop end. After the loop end we are going to terminate. So let me arrange it properly. Now observe this. After that, so what you have, launch, after that it will go to the amount, after that output, sorry, after that input, input amount, output, and then it will convert. After that we will get the result, we will get result. After the result it is going to, so loop end, after that terminate, after that end. Now if you observe here, see this, after the loop end we are going to terminate. So within the loop, whatever the thing we are going to implement, so what it will do, the loop will go for, see this, double click on a loop, what it will ask you, we have to give the loop collection name. For the loop start, we need to give collection name. It means for which collection it has to go for a loop, right? If you give the collection name, what it will understand, it will understand that how many records we have in that particular collection, those many number of times it will go for a loop. That's the intention of this, right? Okay. If you do this here, then observe this. For example, loop is having how many records we have here in a collection? So around, so 9 records, right? Then what it will understand, that it has to go for 9 times within this loop, whatever you have, right? It will implement 9 times. Okay. See this here, we are using launch. Within the loop, we are using launch. If you use this, then what is going to be happen? This launch, it will try to launch 9 times, because within the loop you are implementing that. Once it's launched, so if it's try to launch next time, it will throw error. The application is already running. It will say that the application is already open. You can't able to launch one more time, right? For that, what we have to do, we have to use always launch before the loop. Okay, so first we need to launch your application. After that only we have to go for a loop. Now observe this. So always remember, so when we are launching your application, so without this, so before the loop you need to launch. After that you need to start a loop start, and then so you have to end it. See this, now everything is clear, right? So now it will launch first only one time. Once it is launched, after that, so within this amount, input currency format, output currency format, convert, and then getting the result, all these things, I'm sorry, it will implement, so within the particular, so loop, and then it will calculate, and then it will give you the result. Okay, so if you run this like this, whatever you have now here, if you run exactly like this, will it work? Will it going to pick the values from Excel file and then from the collection? No, right? So if you observe here, amount, what you are doing here, right click, view object in Object Studio. See this amount, when it is executing this, here what we have given? We have given hard coded value, right? 99999. Every time, if it runs 9 times also, but every time it is going to hit the same value, and then it is going to convert with this same value, with this hard coded value. But we don't want to do this, right? We have to give the values from your Excel file. So now Excel file data, it came to collection here. It will come to collection. Now how to pass these collection values to your actions, right? So when we are discussing input and output parameters, what we discussed, where we need to use the values, there we need to create a parameter. Where we are calling the process, there we need to assign the value for a parameter, right? If you observe here amount, double click, here you are calling amount action. Here you need to assign the value for parameter. Okay. And where you are using the values, observe this. Here you are using values in Object Studio. These values you are using in Object Studio. It means here you need to create a parameter. Understood this carefully. Where we are using values, there we need to create a parameter. Where we are calling these actions, there we need to assign the values. We are calling this action in Process Studio, there we need to assign the values, right? So now, so first we will create a parameters here. Double click and start and add. This is for amount, right? So give the same thing, amount, and so this one will be number, and then store it in amount. It means, so whatever the value will come to this parameter value, store it in this data item. That's the meaning of this. Okay. Now whatever the value will come to this data item, we are going to give it here. Observe this carefully. This is very important. Give it here. Now click OK. Now what happened? We created a parameter and we stored that value of that parameter into a data item. Whatever the value is coming to here into the end. So this one, sorry, just a minute. Whatever the value is coming here to your data item, so those value you are storing here, and then you are giving in a write option here to the write option. Just a minute.
year 2009, my father passed away. He was a patient of Parkinson's disease. Suddenly one morning, I just got a call from my mother saying he's gone. I remember when I was in university, for 2 years I did not speak a single word to my father. We had some differences of opinion. Lalita, so upset. I did not speak a single word with him for 2 years. And just before I came to the Hare Krishna movement and joined the monastery, just a couple of months before that, my father came and fell at my feet, putting his head at my feet, crying and begging, "Son, please." I remember ignoring him.